Hi, it's Margaret, and thank you so much for joining me here on the Gardening Me. Today I'm talking seed haul. I went to William Dam finally. I usually go to their seed house at least once a year, and I finally went there this year, a little bit late, but I actually had been planning really not to buy hardly any seeds this year because I have so much in my stash already. And when that happens, which is a lot of the time, I often say to myself, you know what? This year you're going on a seed diet. You're really not going to go out and buy any seeds. You have enough. I usually don't stick to it. Well, in this case, I did run out of a few things that I really enjoyed that I grew last year. So I wanted to restock on that. And of course, when you're there and you're faced with all of these beautiful varieties and all of this choice, it's very difficult just to stick to the little list that you brought. So I did end up getting a whole bunch of other stuff. A lot of the times, actually, William Dam doesn't have their stock in fully until the end of January. And some of the stuff I would probably want to sow earlier than that. I would want to winter sow it, that kind of thing. So I divided the seeds into a couple of groups. I have one here, which is the stuff that I am going to grow this year. And then there's another group. These are the seeds that I can't grow this year because it's far too late to sow them. They need a lot of stratification. They're better for winter sowing. Or it's just simply too late to sow them, period. So these I will have in my stash ready to go for next January. So a few of these, as I said, I did grow last year and I'm restocking, and I'm pretty sure I have either footage or photos of what they looked like in my garden last year. So I will try to dig it up and put it into this video as well so you can see what they look like, IRL. So now I'm going to just turn the camera around and we will take a look at all the goodies that I got at William Dam this year. So the first ones I'm going to do are those that I am still going to sow this year because I do still have enough time. And we will start off with this guy here. And this is Guinevere Delphinium. I did grow this one last year and it was phenomenal. It's gorgeous. It's kind of a light lavender color and it grows to be about 48 inches tall. This one blooms early to late summer and then possibly again in the fall if you deadhead it. And it is a first year bloomer. It did bloom last year. I don't know whether the ones I sowed last year or grew last year will come back this year. We'll see. But I definitely knew I wanted to grow it again in the garden. And this one is hardy from zones 3 to 8. Okay, so this guy is an interesting one. I've never grown this one before. I saw it at the William Dam trial garden and I just fell in love with it, specifically those beautiful leaves. I can't even remember now whether I saw it in bloom or not, but I just remember the leaves. The leaves are beautiful and feathery, and this one is actually called the sensitive plant because when you touch the leaves, they kind of furl up. The leaves are a beautiful bluish green, and this one quickly grows into a large garden plant with showy blooms. As I said, can't recall whether I saw them last year, but when I look back at my footage, because I know I did take some footage, we'll see whether those blooms were actually on the plant when I saw them. Apparently the bees do really enjoy the blooms on this one. The other great thing about this one is in the fall, it gets maroon seed pods, and the birds really love it. And this one is a legume, so it does add nitrogen back into the soil as well. And lastly, on this list of like positive stuff for this one is that it's native to much of Eastern North America. So that is always a big plus. Super excited to grow this one. Now here is a Veronica. This one is Veronica Blue and it has deep purple blooms and it's super hardy all the way down to zone 2. Now I couldn't find much information about this one. The species is spicata, which means the flowers are spiky. And also typically I believe spicatas are clump forming and relatively compact. So that's the story with this. And this one grows 28 inches tall. And Nicotiana. I grew this one before. I absolutely loved it. And it's a blend of 7 different Nicotiana from the perfume series. It includes bright rose, red, deep purple, blue, lime, antique lime, and white. And the blooms are amazingly scented in the evening. This one is not a super tall one. It only grows to be 20 to 24 inches tall. And it blooms basically from summer to frost. So this is another one that I grew last year for the first time, and it has crazy intense purple blooms that when I saw it at the William Dam Trawl Gardens, they were absolutely loaded with bees in September. Now, having said that, I didn't really notice that in my garden, but nonetheless, it is a gorgeous plant. What really struck me about this plant as well wasn't even just the blooms, which are amazing, but it was also the foliage. It was really thick and really heavily corrugated. It was gorgeous. Now, heliotrope apparently means to move with the sun, and this refers to the flowers following the light of the sun through the day, kind of like I guess sunflowers do. Until I was looking up more information on this one right now, I actually didn't even know that. So even if it did do that, I probably didn't notice. So now that I know that, I will keep an eye out for it. This one is a relatively short one as well. It only grows to be about 18 inches tall, basically blooms all summer until frost. So here I have a couple of lobelia, and lobelia I grew for the first time from seed last year, and it was amazing. So easy. I don't know, it really brought me a lot of joy for some reason. I put these in pots and they kind of line my front entrance steps. And I have a couple of different varieties here. Now, Regatta Mix is one that I actually did grow last year. And this one has a bunch of blues, whites, pinks all together. It grows about 6 to 8 inches tall, and it's considered an improved trailing type. It's more floriferous, it's compact, and it's more heat tolerant than older varieties. And this one also flowers up to 4 weeks earlier than other trailing varieties. And the other one I got is this guy here. This one is new to me. It's Masterpiece Blue, and this one is a Flora Select winner, which is basically the European equivalent of the All-America Selection winners in North America. And they said that the judges were impressed with the large plant habit and the bright blue flowers on this one. And it's supposed to be well branching with mounded growth. Now, lobelia will often go dormant in the summer heat, especially when it's in a really sunny spot. And this one is supposed to have much more heat tolerance than the typical lobelia. Now we have another perennial. This is a salvia, and this is a Flora Select Novelty Award winner as well. I did grow this one last year. I'm not sure whether or not I got flowers last year, though I don't think I did. The amazing thing about this particular variety is it has dark stems. So those dark stems make it look like it's blooming for a lot longer than other varieties of salvia. This one is a compact variety. It's very well branched and it has leathery leaves, so it's heat and drought tolerant and all the way down to zone 4. It's relatively short as well. It grows only about 12 to 16 inches tall. Now, of course, I had to get a marigold, and I got Lemon Gem here, which is a signet marigold. So it's not those kind of tall, single stem kind of marigolds. It's more of a front of the border mounding marigold with small single flowers. Now, they're very floriferous, and the foliage is also beautiful and fern-like and has a light citrus scent. This only gets to be about 12 inches tall and basically as well blooms all summer all the way to frost. I think I'll probably be doing a snail roll for this because I think I'm going to need quite a lot of it. One packet contains 250 to 300 seeds for one packet of this. Talk about a bargain. It was $3.25. And here is the last one I have that's being sown this year. And this is a nasturtium called Empress of India. And this one has gorgeous red flowers, but For me, the real draw for this one is the dark foliage. It's just beautiful. This is a mounding one, and it only grows to be about 12 inches tall. And that covers the ones that I will be sowing this year. Now on to the next batch, which is the ones that are going to go into my stash for next year. And look at this one. This is the first guy here. This is a primula, and I have tried growing primula from seed before. I believe I tried last year. I think I got one seedling, and I think it's in my holding bed right now. So we'll see how that goes. But when I saw the coloration on this guy, this one is Benelli Sailing. I just couldn't resist. There's not much information on this one other than it's an early bloomer and it's relatively compact. This one actually only grows to 6 inches tall. And they do say that it can be grown as a winter greenhouse or solarium plant if you're so lucky to have a solarium. The packet also does say that this is a short-lived variety. So who knows, it may last, 2 or 3 years and then kind of peter out. And it's hardy in zones 4 to 7. Next is this penstemon here, Twizzle Purple. And this is an old All-America Selections winner back from 2017. It's a first-year blooming penstemon, and penstemon is a North American native. And this one has an upright plant habit, and apparently it blooms profusely from mid to late summer. And this one also did receive that Flora Select Gold Medal in Europe. It's kind of a moderate height at 28 inches tall, and it's hardy from zones 5 to 8. Okay, so we have a couple of violas here. These, Delft Blue is one, and Tiger Eye Red is the other one. I grew last year. Well, technically not last year. The year before is when I sowed them, put them in the ground. They were kind of smallish that first year. Last year, though, wow, they were both amazing. I couldn't get enough of them. I planted them in a spot that kind of got a bit of sun in the morning, maybe 2 or 3 hours of morning sun, and then it was basically in the shade. And they basically bloomed for most of the season. Now, I've seen on other websites these listed as either annuals or only being hardy from zones 9 to 11. Now, the William Dam packet says that it's hardy down to zone 5. So, I don't know. It survived the first winter for me. I'm not sure whether it will come back this year or not, but I guess we'll see. Now here I have 2 varieties of Echinacea. Both of these I grew last year through winter sowing, but neither of them bloomed the first year. And I am really looking forward to seeing what they look like this year, because they went through the summer in my holding bed, but then they went into the ground later in the early fall. And oh my goodness, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they look like. So the first one I have here is Prima Donna Deep Rose. This one grows to be about 34 inches tall. So it's a relatively tall echinacea, and it has really large flowers that can reach 5 to 6 inches in diameter. And the petals are kind of droopy a little bit, like slightly droopy. And of course, from the name, it's a deep rose flower. It's supposed to be really well branched and sturdy as well, and it's hardy from zones 3 to 6. And the next one here is Powwow Wildberry, and I fell in love with this one when I saw it at the William Dam Trial Gardens. This one is a compact variety. It only gets to be about 18 inches tall. And the flowers themselves are about 3 to 4 inches wide. Now, an interesting thing about this one as well is that Walter's Gardens noted that the flowers held their bright coloration really well as they aged, so that the older flowers were nearly the same magenta color as the newer flowers. The one thing about these to be aware of, and that I'll have to remember myself, is that they apparently tend to emerge in the spring more slowly than other types of echinacea. And these are also hardy from zones 3 to 8. And now we have verbena. And of course, firstly, it's Verbena bonariensis, the one that everybody knows and loves, with the lilac blooms on tall, kind of graceful, airy stems. It's really I mean, the ultimate when it comes to those see-through plants that look great with practically anything in the garden. And the butterflies absolutely love it. Now, if you're in zone 7 or higher, this one will be a perennial for you. So lucky you. But us in colder zones, some of us may be lucky enough where it does end up self-sowing. I haven't seen that yet in my garden, but I really don't have much of it in my garden yet. So I'm hoping to kind of continue building my little collection, and hopefully at some point it'll start to reseed for me. Now, the other verbena I have here is one that I'm hearing a lot about in the last couple of years, but I've never actually seen it in person. And this one is called Verbena Bampton. Now, apparently this variety was found in a public garden in the English town of Bampton, hence the name. Unlike the Bonariensis, where the blooms are on top of tall, kind of wiry stems, this one is sort of a mass of short stems covered with tiny blooms. Whereas the Bonariensis grows 3 to 4 feet tall, this one only gets about 31 inches tall. And now let's talk about the last group here. And these are all eucalyptus, but they're a little bit different than the standard eucalyptus. The first one I have here is called Moon Lagoon. And this one, instead of those kind of more rounded leaves, this one has short pointed leaves in dark gray green, and it's also called fine-leaved mallee. And in warmer climates, this one gets pretty big. It can reach 10 feet or more tall. And that would be in climates that are zone 7 to 11. Here where I am, it's just grown as an annual, and it will get about 30 inches tall. And then there's this one. And this one, I saw this at the trial gardens and I was just smitten. This one is called Eucalyptus Blakeleyi, or they just call it Blakely here. And the new foliage, when it emerges, it's a beautiful maroon. And the older leaves are huge. They're about 3 inches long and they sort of dangle from the stems. It's such a graceful plant, and it really grew quite large compared to the other varieties in the trial. And the leaf shape is also not your typical leaf shape. This one is hardy down to zone 8, but if you live in zone 8 or higher, it'll grow into like an 80-foot tree. In our garden, it will probably get about 48 inches tall. And then the last one here is Heartleaf Silver. And this is more your traditional eucalyptus. It has a traditional eucalyptus shape. It's larger and the leaves are more elongated than the very popular Silver Drop, which I have grown before, and it was amazing. The leaves also have a slight wave to them. This one grows to be about 30 inches tall. And that is it. I'm super excited to get some of these sown. I think the next one I'm going to do actually is I'm going to get the lobelia sown. I had such an amazing time last year growing lobelia from seed that I'm super excited to do it again. It was absolutely worth it. Normally I get it in those little cell packs at the nursery, and I think from now on I'll just be growing them from seed. Super awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you next time. Bye.